Hey! So I am actually, well, I'm home today. Uh, I have like a bunch of errands that I was running, and I wanted to talk about something today on how to night wean from feeding, or how to stop feeding at night. Same thing. Well, one of the things that that was one of the main things that I wanted to talk to you guys today about. And another thing is, I wanted to apologize. I'm so sorry that on Tuesday there was no sleep Q&A Tuesday. I had my event that day and I came home so late. I was so exhausted. I know that's not an excuse, but I wanted to make it up to you. So one of the questions that I got was, especially at the event, was how do I wean from night feeding? So there are a couple of things that we can do. Before I get into that, if you guys are watching, make sure to share and to like the post so we can have as many parents to see this as possible to learn about the goodies that I'm going to be talking about right now, and to make sure that you like the post so then I can see you and say hi and give you kisses. So okay, let's begin. One of the things that I always talk about is how to uh, put a wedge in between when you're feeding the child and when they're going to go to sleep. So the reason why you want to put a wedge in between is because when a child falls asleep, the last memory that they have when they close their eyes is the first thing that they expect when they wake up. So if they are falling asleep being fed on the boob or on the bottle and they close their eyes, they fall asleep, they're nice and sound, and then you sit there and you look at them and wonder, oh my God, I created you. You know, we all think about that. Then you place them down and then they're nice and asleep, and then they wake up later on in the middle of the night. So when they wake up, there are several reasons why they can be waking up, but one of the factors that we're talking about today is feeding. So if a child under 9 months of age is still being fed, that is totally normal. If your doctor gives you the green light to start night weaning, then you should create a plan for yourself on how to go about that. If a child is over 9 months, sorry, then it starts to interrupt with their night sleep, and it starts to break up the consolidated sleep. So what you want to do then is, first thing is place a wedge in between, like I mentioned. So that can be maybe tickling them, not to get like full giggles, but something just to reawaken them if they're dozing off. Sometimes I like to blow on the forehead lightly. It kind of startles them and it gently awakens them. Sometimes you want to change your diaper. That's what a wedge is, something to kind of not necessarily distract, but to uh, insert and separate between the feeding and when they actually fall asleep. So it keeps them somewhat alert. That's where the whole part in putting them drowsy yet awake comes in also, because when you're placing a child down drowsy, you want them alert enough that they're aware of their surroundings. So when you place them down, that they can fall asleep independently and they don't fall asleep in association or on a crutch, such as the bottle, a boob, maybe like being rocked or anything else like that. That's why you want to place them down drowsy. So one of the things is placing a wedge. The other part is, for an example, let's say you are, hey, I see we have a viewer. If you can maybe place a comment below who you are so I can say hi. So to continue, once you place a wedge, another part is, let's say in the middle of the night, if they're bottle feeding, so how to wean from that. So one of the things that you would want to do is either you can start decreasing the ounces. I've had some families that wanted to try going from their formula or the milk or breastfeeding, whatever that they have in the bottle at first, to then going to water and then decreasing that. Usually that doesn't necessarily work because kids are really smart, and you go from one liquid to another liquid, it's just not going to go. That game isn't going to fly with them. They'll flip out, they'll throw the bottle at you. Majority of the time that doesn't necessarily work. So if you've tried that and it didn't work, don't feel bad. just because all you're doing is just, you're switching from one liquid to another. So we don't want that. You actually want to create a plan. So one thing that you can do is start to decrease the ounces and create a plan for yourself. Make sure you have that on the fridge, wherever that you look for the intakes for, you know, like your sleep diary or their food diary or anything else like that. So you can have it listed and you know, okay, day one, this is how much they're going to take. So you already mentally prepare yourself. I'm not going to go above this amount of ounces to feed them because we are on a goal to decrease the ounces. The other aspect that you can also look into, if they're breastfeeding, how to wean off of that. So it's kind of hard when you are breastfeeding and you're trying to wean off from there. So there are several ways that you can do it. One is either you could time yourself on each breast how much that you're feeding your baby. That includes for you to be very alert during that time, so you can make sure that you're jotting down your notes very well. Hi guys, I see that we're getting lots more viewers. Make sure to like it so the video and to share it so I get to say hi. And okay, so to continue, when you are breastfeeding, one of the things that you can do, what I mentioned, is by writing it down and by tracking it, or you can actually go cold turkey. Now, if you go cold turkey, you're probably thinking, Carolina, how am I going to do that? Because if I'm going to go cold turkey, that baby's just going to go flipping out and they're not going to know what to do. So if you go cold turkey, and with any night weaning, you're going to need to create some sort of a very gradual approach, or you need to create a plan for yourself. That's the bottom line, in how you're going to night wean your child. So one is how you're going to do it. So I gave you three different scenarios. One is if it's bottle feeding to decrease the ounces. Two, if you're breastfeeding, to either go cold turkey, or you can check the times and how long that you're feeding them and make sure that you're decreasing throughout the week. And third is make sure that you're placing a wedge in between. So those are three things that you can do. And once you are checking those off, you have that settled, make sure that you have your sleep plan intact in what you're going to do when that your child wakes up in the middle of the night and it's not time to feed. How are you going to place them to bed? So that's where you would need a very detailed sleep plan, and I do help with that. I help with the sleep hygiene and the behavioral coaching and creating a very detailed sleep plan in how to help your child wean off of feeding and what you're actually going to do when it's not time for them to feed, because you're going to have them scheduled when you're going to be feeding them in the middle of the night, so you don't consistently do it all the time. What are you going to do when they wake up? How are you going to put them from point A to point B and not do a full-blown cry it out approach? Because usually when a child is still being fed at night, you need more of a gradual way to help them go back to sleep, because it is very sensitive when you are feeding them, because they still need that touch. Sometimes children need the touch and they need the sucking to help them calm down. So you need to go from point A to point B, and how are you going to do that? So make sure that you put together a very detailed plan for yourself. Okay? So those are my tips for today, and I hope that that helped with the fact that I was missed on Q&A Sleep Tuesday. I will make sure never to do that again. I made a promise to myself. I'm going to be present. I'm here to serve you guys and to have as many sleeping parents and children as possible. So if you like this video, make sure to share it, and I will see you next time. It's going to continue being on Q&A Sleep Tuesdays at night from 9 to 9:30 p.m. I'm going to be on my page, facebook.com/achievewithcarolina. And if you want, you can email me questions if there's something specific that you want me to answer. I would be happy to answer them. Or you could PM me. Okay, so I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye.